Okay, we called the meeting to order at 6:02. Willie, just for a matter of record, go through the roll call one more time, just so we all know that we're all here.
Steve Denny.
Here.
Jerry Burmeister.
Here.
Brian Williams.
Here.
Corey Hall.
Here.
Marissa Skaggs.
Here. 5 out of 5 members, we are all here. We'll start with old business tonight. Ordinance 2407, abolishing the town marshal system. Last meeting, we had a brief discussion about 2407 and 2408, establishing the police pension board and fund. Both of these are prerequisites to being able to join the PERF 77 retirement fund for our officers. We previously did first read of both of these back in the summer and have purposely delayed until now, the second read, so that we would have the Metropolitan Board of Police Commissioners have that roster ready. And so if there's any other questions regarding these two ordinances? We'll start with 2407. Does anybody have any questions, comments, concerns regarding abolishing the marshal system?
I don't. Thank you, Rob, for the email.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Thank you very much, Rob. That was very helpful.
Agree. Questions here?
So abolishing the marshal system and establishing the Pendleton Board of Metropolitan Police Commissioners. Do I have a motion for approval of ordinance 2407?
So
I'll make a motion.
Oh, I'll second.
I have a motion and a second for ordinance 2407, abolishing the town marshal system and establishing the Pendleton Board of Metropolitan Police Commissioners. Given that we have 2 members on Zoom tonight, we have to do a roll call vote. So all those in favor, Willie?
Steve Denny.
Yes.
Jerry Burmeister.
Yes.
Brian Williams.
Yes.
Corey Hall.
Yes.
Marissa Skaggs.
Yes. Motion carried unanimously. Moving on to 2408, establishing the police pension board and fund. This board is very straightforward and is spells out exactly who serves on it. It's the president of the town council, the town clerk treasurer, the police chief, and 4 active members of the town's police department. So that is extremely straightforward and no real questions on that. Any comments, questions, concerns, clarifications for ordinance 2408? If there aren't any, I'll entertain a motion for approval of ordinance 2408, establishing the police pension board and fund.
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second for ordinance 2408, establishing the police pension board and fund. Willie, will you lead us in a roll call vote in favor of?
Steve Denny.
Yes.
Jerry Burmeister.
Yes.
Brian Williams.
Yes.
Corey Hall.
Yes.
Marissa Skaggs.
Yes. Motion carried unanimously. Moving on to the 2025 budget for electric, water, and stormwater. We did first read of this last Thursday. Scott, I assume nothing has changed with these, and these were prepared by Scott, Reski, town manager, as well as Reedy Financial Group. Any questions for Scott regarding these? Scott, anything you'd like to add? Great. If there aren't any questions or comments, I'll entertain a motion for approval of the 2025 budget for electric, water, and stormwater utilities.
Make
make
the
a motion.
motion. No, second.
I have a motion and a second for approval of the 2025 budget for electric, water, and stormwater utilities. Willie, will you lead us in a roll call vote in favor of?
Sure. Steve Denny.
Yes.
Jerry Burmeister.
Yes.
Brian Williams.
Yes.
Corey Hall.
Yes.
Marissa Skaggs.
Yes. Motion carried unanimously. Item D, memorandum of executive session. We held an executive session last week to discuss appointments, and we did just that. Do we need to make a motion and a vote to approve that, or don't I just usually sign that?
Sign it.
Okay. I will be signing the memorandum of executive session from last Thursday's meeting after this meeting. Moving on to new business.
Can I back up for just a
Yeah, go
second?
for it.
Asked our attorney. I have no paperwork on the budget for electric and water, everything we talked about. Are we basically giving Scott the authority to?
No, we had the paperwork.
It's in the Google Drive.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't have any here though, for anybody to sign.
It's not a state form like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, it's not.
We've got a record of it with this meeting, so,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, we don't have to put it on the state form. Oh, what was I gonna say? So it's looser requirements. If I may use that term looser, it's just not as strict because it's not tax dollars, it's user fees.
If we want, I can print them like right now and we can just all sign it, just to say we received it. I mean,
Whatever our attorney.
It's in the
thinks.
minutes.
Uh,
Well, it's
It will
part
be
of
in
the
the-
record,
yeah.
right?
yeah.
Yes,
So I think we're okay.
I brought.
Oh, great.
So if you wanna have everybody sign in. it's fine.
Initial or something.
Sure.
Do you have a preference, Rob,
I think as long as it is in the record.
that we approved it unanimously? Okay. Willie, do you have a preference on how it's done?
no, that's fine. If he's-
Okay.
If he's happy, I'm happy.
I said, "Look at
That's-
you,
yeah.
bring that over." Well, I'm just.
Okay, great. Moving on
You're
to
on it.
new business 2417 additional appropriations. This is kind of our year-end cleanup on some things financially. And so at this point, I will open the public hearing for that because we have to do a public hearing, correct, Rob?
Correct.
Okay. Any questions or comments during the public hearing? Anybody on Zoom have their hand raised that has questions regarding the additional appropriations? No, okay. Do we vote within the public hearing or do I close the public hearing and then vote?
Close the public
Okay.
hearing.
At this point, I will close the public hearing on resolution R 2417 additional appropriations and entertain a motion for approval.
I'll make the motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a
Sorry.
motion second for resolution 2417 additional appropriations. Lily, will you lead us in a roll call vote?
Be glad to. Now, on this one, we're voting for, voting against, or abstaining from voting, so. Steve Denny,
Yes.
Jerry Burmeister,
Yes.
Brian Williams,
Yes.
Corey Hall,
Yes,
Marissa Skaggs.
I'm voting in favor of yes.
Yeah, that's. Yes.
Great. Perfect. We don't have to do a to read on that because that is just a resolution. Okay, moving on to new business B, appointments to boards and commissions. As in previous years, we'll do this like a slate. I will go through and read the appointments, and then at the end, I will entertain a motion for approval. When I'm doing this, I'll also call out the appointing authority for each of these appointments. Just as a matter of record, even the ones that are listed, town council president or municipal executive, we have made these appointments as a group. Everyone has been involved in this process. So I just want everybody to know that it's not like I'm sitting there making these appointments in a vacuum without any kind of outside opinion. I think that we come together really well as a group and make these appointments. So starting with Board of Zoning Appeals, Jenny Sisson for a term ending December 31st, 2028. Her appointing authority for that position is the town council president, and it's a person from Planning Commission. Moving on to Planning Commission, we have two appointments ending 12/31 of 2028, Tim Pritchard and Cheryl Ramey Hunt. Those are both municipal executive appointments. Moving on to Historic Preservation Commission, we have a new term ending 12/31/2028 for Sandy Butler, that's municipal executive appointment, as well as Shelby Sheff, municipal executive appointment, and her term will also end 12/31 of 2028. In January, hopefully we will have the appointment from Historic Fall Creek Board. Moving on to Parks and Recreation Board, this is a 4-year term. Coco Bill reappointed by the town council for a term ending 12/31 of 2028. Waterworks Board, these are all 1-year terms. Donnie Meyer appointed by a municipal executive. Jerry Burmeister appointed by a municipal executive, and Mike Romack appointed by a municipal executive. Those terms will all end 12/31 of 2025. Utility Rate Advisory Board, this is a 4-year term. The town council is the appointing authority for both of these positions. Matt Ulm will be fulfilling a spot that was recently resigned by George Hasparovic. His term will end 12/31 of 2027. Tim Pritchard reappointed to this committee by the town council for a term ending 12/31 of 2028. Redevelopment Commission, these are all one-year terms. Dan Maddox, appointed by the municipal executive. Lisa Floyd, appointed by the municipal executive. Matt Ulm, appointed by the municipal executive. Steve Denny, reappointed by the town council. Dave Cravens, reappointed by the town council. And we will have one appointment that will be coming from the school board that we will know about shortly. Moving on to Redevelopment Authority, reappointing Jeanette Isabel by the municipal executive for a term ending 12/31 of 2027. Board of Zoning Appeals, reappointing Mike Romack. This one is appointed by the fiscal body, which is also the town council. Not Board of Zoning Appeals, Economic Development Commission, which is a 4-year term. So his term will then be up in 1/31 of 2029, because that one ends January 31st, which is interesting. Moving on to Urban Forestry Committee, these are 3-year terms. Kenneth Lau, Joe Scott, Carrie Dodd, Jeanette Isabel, Loretta Gray, and Julie Mitchell. Those are all 3-year terms ending December 31st of 2027. Design Review Board, this is a newly created board as a result of our overlay district that is now part of our UDO. These are 2-year terms. These are appointed by the town council. Cheryl Ramey Hunt, Loretta Gray, and Shelby Sheff. This is also a new board, Metropolitan Board of Police Commissioners. We just referenced this on that previous ordinance. These are staggered terms since this is a new board. Chris McCain, appointed by the town council for a 3-year term. Tim Pritchard, appointed by the town council for a 2-year term. Rusty Bodenhorn, appointed by the town council for a 3-year term. Brad McQuitty, appointed by the town council for a 1-year term. And Brian Arthur, appointed by the town council for a 3-year term. Impact Fee Review Board, this is also a 1-year term. These are all reappointments coming from the municipal executive. Julie Schnepp as the real estate broker, Joe Miller as the Indiana licensed engineer, and Tom Lavin, certified public accountant. And then that's it. Those are our appointments. Do we have any questions, comments, concerns regarding those appointments as presented? If there aren't any, I will entertain a motion for approval of the slate as presented.
I'll make a motion for approval of the slate as presented.
Thanks.
second.
There is a second. Which one of you on Zoom second?
Corey. Yeah.
Great. Okay, we have a motion and a second for approval. Willie, will you lead us in a roll call vote?
Sure. Jerry Burmeister,
Yes.
Steve Denny,
Yes.
Brian Williams,
Yes.
Lori Hall,
Yes.
Marissa Skaggs.
Yes. Motion carried unanimously. Any public comment? Anybody on Zoom with a hand raised? Nope. Any comments from anybody up here? If there are not any more comments, I will make a motion to adjourn at 6:17.